Have you ever felt a moment stretch into an eternity? A single tick of the clock that feels wrong? Well, let me tell you about room 313. He checked in at exactly 11:59 p.m. The motel sign outside was fighting with itself, flickering between vacancy and some other word he couldn't quite make out. The air was thick with the smell of rain and rust. Behind the counter, the old clerk just stared down at his register, never once looking up. Inside the room, the world seemed to hold its breath. The digital clock on the bedside table glowed a menacing red, frozen at 11:59. He hadn't even touched the remote when the TV flickered on by itself, a disembodied voice whispering about tomorrow's weather. Heavy fog expected Tuesday, it said. But it was still Monday. A chill ran down his spine. He started to unpack, just to do something, anything, to break the stillness. He blinked, and that's when it happened. The clock ticked, just once, and then everything reset. The faint knock he'd heard at the door a moment ago happened again. The light bulb flickered in the exact same pattern. The TV whispered the exact same words. The same moment, trapped on repeat. At first, he thought it was a dream, a nightmare brought on by a long drive. But then he saw the coffee cup he'd left on the table. With each loop, the stain on its side spread a little wider, grew a little darker, looking almost like, well, let's just say it wasn't coffee anymore. By the fifth loop, his reflection in the bathroom mirror stopped mimicking him. It just stood there staring back with his own terrified eyes. By the seventh, he wasn't alone in the room. Lying on the bed was someone else, or something else. It looked like him, but it was a twisted, wrong version of him. He scrambled to the window, desperate for a sign that the world outside was still normal. But it wasn't. Headlights were driving in reverse. Shadows were crawling backward toward the things that cast them. He opened his mouth to scream, but no sound came out. The silence was absolute, a void that wouldn't even let his own panic escape. Then, the final loop began. This time, the door to room 313 creaked open before he even touched the handle. Standing in the doorway was the motel clerk. But his eyes, they were just hollow sockets, and his mouth was hanging open in a perfect, silent O. Just like the zero on the clock, right before the minute that never, ever comes. They say you can check into room 313, but you never check out. You just start over. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy stories that keep you up at night, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you in the next video.
You're mine.